Hi everyone, welcome to Geometry Box. So I'll just recap what we have discussed in the last module. So in the last module we have discussed how to communicate with Python interpreter using Google Colab without installing anything on your local system. So whoever wants to just learn the Python, just get into the browser and just overtype, just visit my last video so that you can be able to run your Python application instantly by using Google Colab. So after interacting, so we used print method for getting back the response from the Python application. That is, we whatever the message we have given here, and the Python written back to the message. So here you can see I have given print hello world, is given hello world, whatever the message I have given, so it has written back to me. That means I'm able to interact with Python. You assume that Python is one person, I'm just able to interact with, but Python is machine here, so I'm able to, it's running on machine, so I'm able to interact with Python. So we are able to interact with the Python. So why we are learning Python? We have to build some meaningful applications from that. So as a part of that one, we have taken one of the railroad application that is called calculator. So how can you build a calculator? If you are a student, if your teacher came to you and told you, can you build a Python calculator application, so in the Python, or if your boss comes to you, if you tells to you some client requires calculator, or we are going to start new brand called calculator, geometry box calculator, then how can we build a calculator application in the Python? That is our problem statement. Just go through this, it's very clear. So let us implement how we can code in Python. Don't bother, I'm just giving you this for understanding how can we build an application in Python application. So each and every component whatever we have written in this model, we are going to cover all these things in the next modules. Uh, Please watch this carefully. So I'm going to write the code. So here you can see the problem statement clearly. Here they given four functionalities they required. However, the client requires four functionalities. So let me define four functions for this. Let me define four functions for this. So def is keyword which defines function in Python. So addition is one, and we should take let me give and let me do nothing, and subtraction is another function, and I'm doing nothing now, so I'm just defining. So def division pause is the keyword which tells Python to do nothing. Def multiplication, don't worry about the syntax, how Python will be, syntax will be, that we are going to cover. This is to make interest you to learn further on Python application. So you can clearly see I have defined four Python functions by using def keyword, and then I use pass keyword to do nothing. Here they will do nothing. So what my requirement? My requirement is I will be getting two numbers, and I have to return addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication depends on the user input. So I need to take two numbers, number one and number two. It is a similar case for all the functionalities which I got requirements from my teacher or my boss. So I value time so that I quickly gone through I'm going through all these things. So you can find the common patterns, all this. So how we can reduce these patterns into by keeping all these variables in one class, that we can learn when we dealing with object oriented programming in the further modules. So what I just, if someone calls my function, I should print some of the numbers. So I just print some of the numbers. So we, there is two things we can do. We can either return or we can print. Now I prefer to print because it is easy to understand for you whoever begins Python. So I just want to print some of the two numbers, sum of number one, number two equals to number three. You can see, right? You can, it's like a blank, fill in the blanks kind of things you can assume. And then I'm formatting this string. Format is nothing but I'm going to fill exactly the same order. I'm going to fill these things. So in the first thing I want to fill number 1 and number 2 I want to fill, and then number 1 plus number 2 I want to fill. So you can simply assume that this number 1 is going to be sit here, number 2 is going to sit here, and number 1 plus number 2 is going to sit here. So it will be meaningful. So similarly I am going to do for all these things. So I'm going to replace. So I'm going, but instead of sum I am going to use difference, and here I'm going to use division, here multiplication. Okay, I'm using here. So I have to change the symbols. These are mathematical operations in use, so it's pretty much easy, you can understand. So what is the thing is here, you can see these are all looking same now, but I'm saying these are four functions. So four functions, each function will take two numbers and it will perform the operation. Addition function will perform addition of two numbers, and subtraction function will perform two operations, and division function will perform division on two numbers, and multiplication will perform multiplication on two numbers. So this is what it will do. So we are getting all these responses. Let me run this. So now I have implemented four functions that are the core functionalities of my calculator applications. So let me just test it out. So I just implemented, let me just test it out. How can we test it out? We can just call any function. What we have got 4 comma, if I have given 4 comma 6 I have given. So the multiplication is sorry, so addition of the 4 comma 6 is 10. Let me try it out. Subtraction, you make sure whatever the keyword here we use, the same keyword here we should use. So subtraction of 4 comma 6 is minus 2, it should give minus 2. Yeah, it is giving minus 2. Difference of, difference between, okay, difference of, use any keyword whatever, it's not, doesn't matter. So with the division, division, so the division, yeah, sorry, division, we should be careful calling, the function name should be same. So similar way, let me test it out. Multiplication, just test yourself. So this is the basic principles in software engineering we do. Once if we develop one application, we need to test. So we have written four functions, so everything is, so we have to change the symbols also here. Make sure that here the symbols also we are changing. This is the user understandable messages, whatever we can, we have, you can see it. Multiplication of 4 comma 6. So difference of all these things also not needed from a point of view. Difference is also not required. So just let me simplify further. So whatever you want you can give. You can see now. Let me call after editing 4 into 6. I'm showing this all these things because you are under, you can understand clearly where to change and what to change. Okay, now we have tested our functionalities also. Now I want to build an user interface. Calculator means if the Python application, simply you cannot interact with that physically. If you have a calculator in hand, you can interact with that like that. Similarly, if you have calculator application in your mobile application, mobile, then you can open mobile application and then you can do calculations. Similar way, we have to build an UI, that is user interface. Building user interface. Yeah, here we are building CLI interface, and that CLI interface is nothing but command line interface. So I'm just writing, this is, don't bother about this much, you just understand the functionalities I'm looping over. So I want to give the user that full name. How can I help you to assume that it's an board or person, help you. So the option 1 is addition, option 2 is subtraction, option 3 is division, 4 is multiplication. The anything whatever you want, you can give the order. Okay, we are giving the user this option. So let me, I'm using break statement so that I can be limit for one time for checking. I'm just checking whether it is printing correctly or not. How can I help you? It is giving perfectly. Now I have to take user input, so I have to define one keyword choice. Initially it will be none. This is better to define this variable outside the initialize the while, and then you can take directly choice here equal to integer. We need to take integer, and input is the method we to take, and we need to ask user to enter choice. So what first, let us ask what he want to do. So for example, he taken calculator. He has to decide what to do. First he has to do um, addition or multiplication. Let us take this. Let me rerun it. Okay, our application is asking now. Then I will ask choice 1, but it's not doing nothing. So let me try it again, and let me give option 3. It is doing nothing, so that means we haven't implemented our functionality yet. So I have to implement the functionality. So once if we say addition or subtraction, immediate thing is we need to ask, we need to take numbers, number one, number one, number two we have to take. So the same pattern we can follow. Int input, uh, we can ask anyway one number, first number please, first number, and then we can ask second number. We can ask, so we need to have compare choice. So the choice we have, if choice equals to 1, perform one thing, and if choice equals to 2, perform another thing, if choice equal to 3, perform another operation, if choice equal to 4, perform another operation, else print user that uh, wrong choice, invalid choice. This is what most of the applications will print. If someone didn't enter the particular details, then it is invalid. So we are printing the default message. So I've just printed everything. So if choice 1, what is 1? Addition. So we need to call addition function with the number 1 and number 2. So if choice equal to 2, I need to call subtraction with number 1 comma number 2, right? So choice equal to 3, I need to call division with number 1 and number 2. What if choice equals to 4? Multiplication number 1 comma number 2. So these are things we are calling, and we are calling only once. So let me remove this break to run our application infinitely every time. Anytime user can come and give. So he just how can I help you? Okay, you can help me. I need to do some addition. Okay, it's asking first number. Okay, I given 4. Asking second number 5. Okay, it is printing 4 plus 5 equal to 9. Right? Nice. It's printing very well. So let me test it out. I won't give number something xxx, I will give. So it's asking again, and if you need to give, if we have to check this one, we have to take these numbers inside the one. If not, choice less than 5. If choice less than 5, then only ask these things. Take is stop it. Application. So rerun it. Number one, number two. So let me rerun. So I use some number. It is throwing invalid choice. Let me give the option 4. It is asking for first number. Okay, 3, 1. So 3 into 1, 3. Right. So like this we can run our application for infinite times, and also we can give it to the n number of users. They can use parallelly. But before doing that, there are when we are going to fully develop this application, there are many things happen. Like I'll tell you here. So I'll ask you here, what if I give 0 comma from 5 comma 0. So it will throw mathematical error, that is it cannot perform that operation. So in that case we have to do exception handling. So this is the one case we need to, we'll know in the later. And printing all the things on the console is not good, so we'll use loggers for logging all our application, logging instead of print, that is for debug. And we will use unit testing, that is for running all our test cases. It will save our time. So what else? Testings. So we will use audit modules, audit, and then many more we can add here. And also we can create our application into service, application as service. So this is where it comes into the picture, APIs we need to develop. So there are many more things. This is a simple command line application, and we need to add many things. I'll just share this notebook with public, and then I'll put it into comments, description below. Please like this video, and if you have any suggestions, please comment it. We'll take it to the next models. Thank you very much. Please subscribe and share it with your friends. I'm going to teach it like your friends. Teach it like your friend. Thanks.